So they showed Superman's rocket blasting off from Krypton. They didn't show Supergirl's rocket blasting off from Krypton.
No, it only it only got to the point where Superman had just barely left the atmosphere, and then the video files corrupted, so they couldn't watch the rest of it. So you couldn't see if Jor-El made it or Supergirl or anybody.
Right. So this taking place right after Watchmen ends, and that's where we pretty much are talking about it, because they talk about, Ozymandias and everything that he did. They talk that Night Owl, Silk Spectre are missing, Rorschach is missing.
Yeah, it's directly really like right after everything that's happened, kind of during the cleanup of like 3 million people died or something.
Yeah, they mentioned that the journal that Rorschach had sent to the media was found and was being looked at. But then magically Rorschach's alive.
Yeah. And the Night Owl and Silk Spectre are missing. Nobody knows where they are.
But Rorschach's alive, or we think. We don't know if this is actually Rorschach, because, he was vaporized at the end of Watchmen by Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan vaporized him to nothing.
And this Rorschach kind of speaks kind of broken.
Like the garbage people in Walking Dead.
A little bit, but even like the text where he's talking is written like shaky, even like the text box around what he's talking about is kind of shaky, and he speaks in these like kind of really simple English phrases.
We go now. You come with me. Those
kind of Tarzan, kind of like Tarzan.
Razor.
Like a razor. No, but he even the people he breaks out of prison say you're not Rorschach, and he's like, I am Rorschach. He keeps telling him he is, and they insist that he's not.
And but then he takes off his glove, and his hand is black.
Yeah, so I thought maybe it's like a reconstituted zombie Rorschach.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we saw that Ozymandias has his little cat thing, that Bubastis cat creature that he's apparently made another one in the time.
Yeah. So it could be a clone.
That he's been on the run.
It
could be a cloned Rorschach. Who knows?
It could be. But he's getting the mime and his wife out of prison for Ozymandias. And the mime...
Yes, he has their son like somewhere, and he forces them to do this, whatever they're doing.
The mime would not leave the prison without his weapons, Chief.
No, it's fake guns. Don't point imaginary guns at me.
Yeah, that was good. And Ozymandias lures them to Night Owl's lair, hoping that Night Owl would show up, but of course he doesn't.
Yeah, and nobody really knows where they are. But then they say they're going to find out where John retreated to, and they don't say how and how they even can imagine doing that, or what they could possibly do to do that. But the very next thing after he says that is Superman and Lois in bed sleeping, and Superman wakes up having a nightmare, and he's even floating above the bed, which led me to believe that they were saying that Dr. Manhattan retreated to this universe, because it's still a mystery as to where this Superman comes from and why he's been hiding out.
Right. Because the New 52 Superman is dead.
Yeah, he died, and then this guy came out of nowhere, and he'd been living in a remote place with Lois, and he's got a son named Jonathan, but it's Superman. And from what I understood in the early parts of when the new Superman, after the New 52 died and the new Superman came out, the way I understood it was that this was the old school Superman that we all remember, that we all grew up with. This was him, who's been hiding out, and through events of the Flashpoint or whatever, the New 52 had changed everything, and the timeline had been altered. And I think people mostly thought that was Barry Allen's fault.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's someone else tampered with the timeline, and it's some ultra powerful force, whatever, leading us to believe that when we found out it was going to be connected we knew it was going to be connected to Watchmen, that maybe Dr. Manhattan is behind all of this. But this made me think that maybe Dr. Manhattan retreated to this universe made himself forget somehow that he's Dr. Manhattan and took on this form of the Superman in this world.
Mhm.
And maybe Clark is Dr. Manhattan. And that's kind of what I was thinking.
This issue really does give more questions than any answers to anything, because we knew that this was coming because, during the Rebirth one shot before all the titles came out, Bruce finds the comedian's bloody button in the Batcave. It's embedded in the Batcave wall.
Yeah.
Then we had the 2-part button storyline, or the 4-part in Batman and Flash, where they go through the timeline on the cosmic treadmill.
And they watched the Reverse Flash is like vaporized by a blue light that looks like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
So that was all the weird shit that happened months ago, and in November now they're dropping Doomsday Clock on us after all that. So I might have to go back and read the button again just to
definitely
see if there's anything I missed, because this was so weird and raised so many questions. And speaking of questions, Rorschach being based on the question, I thought it would have been cool at some point if he ripped the mask off and there was just no face.
Right.
Ozymandias had brought the question there somehow.
And then if this is all connected, if everything is connected, and if Dr. Manhattan fucked with timelines or almost pulling a Reed Richards where he's like recreating worlds, did Dr. Manhattan create all those dark multiverses that Barbados got the Dark Knights from? I mean, if everything's connected, there's so many questions on this.
Crazy of the Dr. Manhattan Barbados or whatever it was, fucking full on battle.
And we don't even know where this falls, and we don't even know where this would fall into a timeline, because you have Metal still going on, and they say Doomsday Clock is going to be a year-long event. It's a 12-issue event, and it's going to be like year-long.
Well, some of this timeline shit's wonky anyway, because during Metal just recently, the Flash had his regular Speed Force powers in Red Death and in the recent tie-ins and stuff. Flash has his regular Speed Force, but at the same time in the regular Flash comic book,
he's got the negative Speed Force.
Yeah, he was the negative Flash for a while. So the timeline's a little off somehow, but I mean, when you're reading the different, you gotta kind of it's a huge universe. You gotta give it some leeway.
Now, I do have to give.
You can always just, hey, Dr. Fate fucking put everybody back in time, so.
Yeah. And I mean, I give a lot of shit to Marvel, but you do have to admit a lot of times their universes, their books, they will sync so much stuff up with an event to where every book is kind of taking part in this event where there isn't like another storyline going on for the most part. Some books still do. But a lot of the key books, they wrap up a storyline so the next issue ties into the big event. So I do have to give them credit for that. But DC, I mean, this is huge. I mean, 2 gigantic events, both helmed by 2 of the biggest and best writers currently going. You got Snyder over there on Metal, but then you got Jeff Johns on freaking Doomsday Clock. And even Johns has said this is probably the toughest arc event he's ever done, because he's got to tie the Watchmen into DC and all this other stuff.
Yeah. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders, tampering with anything Alan Moore's ever done. I mean, to mess with Alan Moore's masterpiece. I mean, they teach Watchmen classes at some colleges places.
Yeah.
They teach the book, and to mess with it. And before Watchmen, I thought it was okay. I thought there were some issues that were all right. I read that whole series, but that was clearly something that maybe they shouldn't have done.
And that's the one that focused a lot more on like the other Minutemen, right?
Yeah, and it was like kind of pre-Watchmen stuff, like the early Watchmen, and which I think there were issues that were good, and there were issues that were really maybe they shouldn't have done.
Now I'm really interested in what Panda thinks, because she named one of her bunnies after Rorschach.
Well, I think this is the right way to do it. I think this is the right way to tie it in. I mean, they're going to do it. I mean, getting Jeff Johns to do it's pretty good guy to do it. I mean, you got to think like all that Lantern Corps stuff and that the ending of Green Lantern and everything that Jeff Johns has kept DC cool, I think.
Yeah.
In a lot of respects. And Snyder too.
Yeah, recently I've seen a lot of people say they hated the Johns run on Lantern, and I don't know why. They're like, oh, it's the same old thing that always happens, blah, blah, blah. I thought
No.
Jeff Johns' run was excellent. I thought his run on Aquaman brought Aquaman back into prominence and made Aquaman great again. MAGA.
Hey, exactly. Make Aquaman
Make
great
Aquaman
again.
great again. MAGA. But now I am a little bummed because some media outlets that cover this stuff like we do, they got like a box from DC Comics which had like pancake batter in it from like Joe's like pancake house, Joe's Diner. I would have liked to have gotten that, DC, but thank you for the books anyway. And it was so awesome.
Hey, let's not screw this up.
Oh, no, we're not screwing it up. We're not screwing it up. We don't look a gift horse in the mouth. We do not look a gift horse in the mouth.
No, I appreciate it.
This was a packed week, and packed weekend with everything. Doomsday Clock was the big thing, and Chiefs talked about action a bit, but it's a stacked week. I mean, it's just a huge week for DC Comics.
Yeah, there was a lot to get through. I've read a handful of the books, but there's still so many to get through. It's hard to get through all the. I mean, literally, it's like 3 folders full of books.
Yeah. And, that we try to read every week, and I'm, me trying to play catch up on books. Like I said, I've been busy like fucking hell with everything that we're doing, but it's all worth it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Everything that we got going on, everything we got in the pipe. To Chief and I the other week, sitting by our computers for like 2 hours waiting for C2E2's press registration button to go live.
Yeah. And we're getting hopefully getting press passes. I would hope.
Hopefully, we should know something by January. If not, we're still going to be there.
Yeah, that's a long wait. Yeah, so we'll still be there. But I mean, we'll get a lot more cool access to things if we get the press badges too.
Yeah, but we'll still be there. We'll still be covering everything, con videos, all that on the YouTube. Please, everybody, please go like and subscribe to the YouTube page. We're putting so much stuff on there every week. We're trying to put stuff there every week.
There's some good stuff on there, I think. I've listened to those commentary tracks, and I think they're funny. And no, I don't listen to I listen to what Spin. I laugh at Spin stuff because when we're doing it, I don't always catch everything, and then I go back and I listen to him, and then Spin makes me laugh. So I normally just listen to him while I'm watching them. They're funny, I think.
Yeah, just wait for this week because I mean I lose my mind on Time Machine. I'm yelling, I'm screaming because I'm just getting so pissed off at this movie. It's going to be hilarious. You get to hear me pissed off. And we're looking at something also. I put a teaser out on Twitter today. I'm not going to give much more away here on the show, but December, Chief and I have something that I've talked to him about that we're going to be looking into, maybe for you all, the fans, to say thank you and to give back to you. It's what I talked about with the thing, the click thingy.
I don't remember.
I'll put you.
Remind me. Man, I'm telling you, I am not with it today at all.
It was when I asked a question about what we used to do commentary on, if we were able to do something with that. The program that we used for commentary, were we able to?
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Something we've talked about for a long time.
Took the long road to get to that one.
It's a long, hard road out of hell. But we're looking at something that way maybe we can give back to you all, the fans, because you all have been fantastic to us over the years, and it would be just a way to say thank you and to give you a little bit of spotlight.
It's going to be fun if we can do it. It's going to be a lot of fun if we can do it.
I was looking at today. I think there's a way we can do it. So we're going to be testing that out to make sure that we can do it. We're going to be doing that. Of course, we want to wish everybody who's listening to this Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We hope that you're with your friends or your family. You're eating a lot of food, whether you're eating turkey, whether you're eating tofurkey. We don't care. Just eat that food. Go into that food coma.
Eating top ramen.
Top ramen. Oh, I bit my cheek. I usually put some ketchup in there. A whole bottle of ketchup.
Lipwich.
Girl
Kathy.
And your girl Kathy. And I went to Kroger, and you know what they're selling at Kroger, Chief? They have big stands. No, the copper pan and the square copper pan.
Awesome. Hey, those look like I'd use those pans if I had them.
It's infused with copper and vibranium rings.
that Flipwich thing looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's a girl Kathy.
What a doing that thing.
Shout out to Djibouti and their dubs of Kathy Mitchell stuff.
Yeah, as always, go to Djibouti Dubs and Djibouti Studios on YouTube, and you will enjoy it. I promise.
You will check those out after you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like we said, 2018 is going to be a big year. We're going to have some movie reviews. Chief's going to be watching some anime. I'm still, even though I got 0 votes, I'm going to do some video game stuff.
He's doing it anyway. So
I'm doing it anyways. You know, because I mean, I beat Ninja Gaiden last week.